Welcome everyone, and thanks for joining us for today's episode of Canal Days. As always, I am your host, Carrie, along with my co-host, local historian and founder of Historical Tours of Greater Holyoke, Robert Coleman. Our Canal Days series delves into the vast collection of historical sites throughout Massachusetts, with Robert's expertise of the local history as our personal guide. Each episode, we uncover histories throughout local communities, highlighting historical landmarks and remaining relics while uncovering their seminal significance. Today's episode of Canal Days will be learning about the Amherst Town Hall, located in Amherst, Massachusetts. So, chronicle the year Town Hall was built.
It is from 1889, and at that point it was the Amherst Town Hall from that point onwards, so it's 136 years later, still in great shape, and still the Town Hall. And we're going to talk about the architectural style of this, and we're also going to talk about some of the features and who donated to this cause. And it's a very nicely made. So if you look at it, it's a round section in front of the highest section, which itself has a clock on top of it, and it has rounded windows all over the place when it's lying low, but when it goes up high on the clock tower, it has a rectangular face to the piece up there, and you can tell it's made out of drastically different colors, very light color, probably granite, and then some brick on the upper parts, and then it goes back to that granite look up on the top, and it looks like it has a slate roof up there.
And describe the architectural style and inform us of who the architect was.
And the architect was Henry McKay, and the architectural style that he followed is called Richardsonian Romanesque. And you can tell by looking at the windows, they're rounded through them in the Romanesque style, and they're very deeply recessed in the Richardsonian Romanesque style. The colors are very different from each other throughout, so you have very white masonry rock, and then you have a nice dark brick color throughout, and then even the slate on the roof is a different form of red than the brick itself. And this is after the style of Henry Hobson Richardson, who probably has the most gorgeous buildings in the United States. His style was emulated after he died many times over, and so his original work's still around, but a lot of his associates and a lot of admirers would take that style and put it into churches, libraries, and here into a town hall. And it has a gorgeous look, and it is so well made by this construction firm that it hasn't had to have drastic changes. It's still in great shape. And you get the full round in the lower tower, you get the half round in the crossing format or transform, and then you get a clock tower way up there. Then you get a very steeply pitched gable, and in it you have the very narrow windows, all signs of a Richardsonian Romanesque.
And stick around, we'll be right back after this quick announcement. Are you fascinated by local history and eager to investigate the obscure treasures of the beaten path throughout the state of Massachusetts? Or maybe just seeking an unforgettable cultural activity for family and friends to enjoy? Look no further than Historical Tours of Greater Holyoke, founded by Robert Coleman. With over a decade of experience, Robert offers captivating tours and presentations of historic sites and landmarks throughout the state. Whether you're interested in canals, cemeteries, charming churches, and more, Robert's tours provide a unique and enriching experience for all. And that's not it. You can also schedule private tours tailored to your interests, ensuring a personalized adventure and unforgettable memories. Perfect for families or groups of all sizes, making for an exciting hands-on learning experience that brings history to life. Simply visit holyokecanaltour.org or email bobcat4214, capital B, @yahoo.com to book your private tour today. Getting back to our episode on the Amherst Town Hall, list some of the attributes of Town Hall.
Okay, so more architectural attributes Well, look at that front door. The front door is itself very deeply recessed inside of there, and it has a very heavy top, and it's a very big round to it. And so that is very interesting in itself. And of course, look at the clock tower. And if you look at the face around the clock, it's also uses a lot of brick that's very fancy around it. Has four little edges to it. And then look at the narrow windows. Look how narrow any of the gables windows are. So there's two gables on one of the sides, side facing the main busy street. And look how many windows it fits in there. They're very narrow. So when it's trying to make arch around one, it's already starting, after 3/4 turn, starting to make the arch on the next one, and then so forth. And then down the vertical element of that window, it has a half masonry stone, then a full, half full, all the way around itself. Very similar to a coin look. And then look at even the tower, the half tower that's embedded into the clock tower. You can see how deep those windows are. They must be up to 1.5 feet deep inside of there. Now, if this was a Henry Hobson Richardson construction, he would have used a very dark brownstone throughout those windows. But this architect, who emulated him, Henry Mackay, used very light color. So the building comes off in a gorgeous look, maybe the way you want a town or city hall to look, with a lot of light colored and lightweight elements to it.
And to clarify who the Spears family is and their significance.
Well, the clock tower has 4 faces, and each face has a clock in it. And this is good because the citizens of Amherst, back when this was made 1888, did not have electricity yet. And so you have a clock that would have worked off of other kinds of power, and it would have told people what time it was, right? And people didn't have enough money to buy watches or clock for the most part, and this would have told them exactly what time. In most towns around Massachusetts would have these kind of clocks in the Congregational Church Tower. In this case, they have it right embedded in the town hall. So, gorgeous building overall, great place, and I love the symmetry throughout. When you have a big gable, like on one of the sides, it goes to a little wider windows, but it keeps those arches above it in about the same shape and color. So everything's very symmetric. You have a certain element, you're going to do a certain thing at a certain time. And there's plaques down below, right? And the Spears family was very wonderful in order, they gave those clocks, and they're honored by a plaque down below on one of the circular towers. Thank you.
And thank you for joining us on our episode of the Amherst Town Hall and on our journey through the history of the Connecticut River Valley. We hope you enjoyed uncovering some of the hidden and overlooked marvels and their fascinating stories that shaped our past in the state of Massachusetts. A special thanks to Robert Camus, founder of the Historical Tours of Greater Holyoke, for sharing his passion and expertise with us. Remember, you can find more information about Robert's tours, book private tours, and explore the Canal Days video and podcast series at holyokecanaltour.org. If you enjoyed today's episode, please like, comment, and share. We'd love to hear your thoughts and suggestions for future episodes. Don't forget to keep exploring and discovering history that is hidden in plain sight all around us. Thanks for listening, and don't forget to tune to our next episode of Canal Days, and log on to holyokecanaltour.org. Until next time.